Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 13. Chapter 133. Nina sobbing in the waiting room is the first person I notice when Luther and I walk into the hospital. I have nothing against Nina, except that she is too emotional for my liking. She makes me think of rainbows and unicorns. I stop dead in my tracks and look at her. She looks devastated and my stomach dives. If she is crying like that, it must be bad. Did things take a turn for the worse while we were still at the scene? Suddenly, fear and panic clutch my heart and I am back in my parents' house. Strangers knocking on the door and ripping my world apart with the dreadful news that my parents are dead. I can't do this, I whisper to Luther as I grab his hand and hold him back from walking further. I won't do this. Do what? He frowns confused. Going in there and hearing that my best friend has lost her baby or her husband, I look at him in desperation. If I don't hear the news, it didn't happen. I won't do it. Adele, Luther's voice is patient as he rests his hands on my shoulders and looks me in the eyes. They were any when they got into the ambulance, and they still will be. But what if they're not? My bottom lip starts quivering and I wipe away the pesky tears. Liana is my best friend and the first person I allowed to get close to me after my parents died. I don't know how to console her. Just be there and hold her hand. Luther gently strokes my cheek with his finger. It will be enough. Okay, I sniff and wipe the tears off. But I must warn you, if we're getting bad news, you're going to have a mess of a fiancé to deal with tonight. I can take it. He kisses me on my forehead, shake my shoulders and lift my chin before walking towards Nina. She looks up and wipes her nose. Any news? I ask gently and sit next to her. No, she sniffs as she tugs and tears the tissue she is holding. Nobody has been here to update me. David and his men are guarding the doors. I look at my fingers as emotions swirl through me. I want to slap Nina for scaring me with her tears, but I know I am being unreasonable. She and Liana have been friends since like forever. It is natural for her to cry because she cares. It is just me being wind up about everything. Nina is not overreacting, I am. They say no news is good news, but I think it is bullshit. Wondering is worse, it is torture. I wanted to avoid the truth because it was easier, but denial and ease do not erase the truth. Sitting here and biting my nails will kill me. I close my eyes and Liana's emotionless blue eyes haunt me. No. I cannot sit here. They might be alive, but Liana was not any when she got into that ambulance. I'm going in, I say adamantly and stand up. You can't, Nina looks at me with red and swollen eyes. Only authorized personnel are allowed. Security will stop you. Let them try, I grunt. I'm an alpha. Adele, be patient, Luther reasons. I had a 5-second meltdown, I look at him. But now I'm over it, and Liana needs me. I walk towards the examination rooms with long strides. Either the guards let me through, or I will kill them and walk through. The choice is theirs. Fortunately for them, we are in a hospital and hopefully a doctor will revive them when I am done. A guard opens his mouth to talk to me, and I growl at him. David quickly pulls the guard back and I nod in appreciation. It is not hard to find Liana and Axel, I only follow the sound of chaos. Doctors are working frantically on Axel while Liana sits on the bed next to them, staring into the abyss. Nobody even notices me as I walk towards her. Without a word, I sit next to her and take her hand. She looks at me for a moment before she lays her head on my shoulder. What's happening? I ask softly while witnessing the chaotic scene in front of us. He's sort of any, she sighs heavily. No eternal bleeding and his head CT is clear. They sedated him. Now the ortho, plastic and general surgeons are fighting who gets to do what first. Don't they have protocols for these things? I scoff and roll my eyes. It's the alpha, Liana replies emotionlessly. Everybody wants to do their best and be the hero. Axel would have slapped all of them if he didn't have 2 broken arms, I grin. He can still kick them. There is a faint smile tugging on her lips and I relax a little. She is slowly returning to normal. How are you and Alana doing? I ask gently as we watch the surgeon working on Axel's face. I hope he knows what he is doing and does not leave hideous scars. Axel and Liana do not need visible evidence of what happened. All my wounds are super chill. And Alana is perfectly healthy for an 18-week baby. She places her hand lovingly on her abdomen. You and Luther saved our lives. If I weren't searching for my phone, well, you know. So, thank you. I can't take credit for that. I close my eyes and suppress the thought of Liana dying. It was a coincidence. I'm still grateful, she looks up at me. Not only did you get me out of my seat, but you were also immediately there to help. Enough of that, I pat her hand and swallow hard. You're going to make me ugly cry. A nurse pushes a trolley past us with medical supplies which I assume is to treat Axel's arms. Could you figure out what happened? She asks. Yes, I answer reluctantly. I do not want to add more drama to her night, but knowing Liana, she needs something to keep her mind occupied other than watching her husband being stitched up. How much detail do you want? Everything. She looks up at me with blazing eyes, and I rejoice internally. The passive Liana is much scarier than the angry Liana. I need to know who ruined my date night. It's a homicide, I whisper so that nosy ears cannot hear us. Liana is quiet while I tell her everything, but I can feel her tense up next to me as I continue. I have a feeling that the overtime list from Sheldon will clear up some things. I suspect that the enforcers were there to assist with Jack's illegal activities. That sealed room contains all our answers regarding the PAC's finances, Philip's business, and the enforcers. Of that, I am sure. I think you're right. We should break into that sealed room, Liana grunts. Once we know what they're doing, we can start planning. We're not doing anything, I say firmly. You're going to rest and heal while Luther and I get married. After that, we can investigate further. Your wedding, Liana sits up and looks at me with big eyes. Poor Luther, Axel is supposed to be his best man. Poor Luther. I raise my eyebrows. Poor you. You have a husband with his hands tied. You're literally going to serve him hand and foot. Not to mention scratching all his itches and wiping his A*s. I'll scratch, clean and wipe every part of him, she shrugs. He's alive and that's all that matters. He's alive, I whisper. But are you okay? Tonight was a lot. No, I'm not, she looks at me with blazing eyes. I'm livid. I don't care if it was random they deliberately dropped a body onto a car. Innocent people could have died. Axel and Alana could have died. The second you say, I do, I'm blowing up start and killing people. And will enjoy doing it, I smile at her. Nobody hurts my friend and lives to tell. Don't bother with digging graves, Liana rests her head once more against my shoulder. They don't deserve a dinged burial. I'm going to burn them. Dead or alive, I don't care. Or feed them to the pigs. There should be nothing left of them. Wow, you're really not okay, I say awkwardly. Liana has never been this bloodthirsty. Axel's heart stopped breathing in the ambulance, her words are low and hoarse. It couldn't have been more than a minute, but it was enough for me to envision a life without him. A hollow, lonely life with two babies asking for their father. It was the worst feeling of my life, and it killed every reasonable thought and compassion I might have had towards them. Forgiveness, I want my pound of flesh. Chapter 134, Son of A.B. H. Axel calls out, followed by a thud. With a racing heart, I run from the bathroom to our bedroom as fast as I can. Are you okay? I kneel next to him where he is lying on the floor with his feet entangled in the linen. No, I'm not, he grunts, and I can hear the anger and frustration. That was a stupid question, sorry, I mumble as I free his feet and help him into a sitting position. With both his arms in casts, his movement is restricted, and daily, mindless routines turn into a challenge. I'm not mad at you, he sighs apologetically. I know, love. I kiss him on the cheek and sit next to him on the floor. This is so humiliating, he sounds like a little boy fighting tears. I'm the alpha and I can't even get out of bed or brush my teeth. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, I rest my head on his shoulder. I will not patronize him with "at least you're alive" or "it could have been worse." He knows it, but he still must suffer through this, and I cannot help him. We don't have to go to the wedding tomorrow. Adele and Luther will understand. We're going, he says adamantly. I will not allow those bastards to win. Okay, I smile at him. Do you want to sit on the floor, or do you want to stand up? What would be worse? He grins. Me peeing my pants or you helping me up? Definitely the second one, I tease him and stand up. Because I might let you fall and then it's too late anyway. You won't, he grunts as I put my arms around him from the back and carefully help him up. But with broken ribs, it is not easy and painful for him. You never let me down before, you wouldn't start now. His words warm my heart. I know this is a light-hearted conversation to lessen the tension and awkwardness, but I also know he means it. I love you too. I put my arms around his waist and nestle closer to him. I'm just glad you and Alana are all right, he sighs as we walk to the bathroom. Broken arms will heal, but I can't replace my girls. And I can't replace you, I swallow my tears as I pull down his sweatpants. That moment when his heart stopped is engraved into my mind and it haunts me every minute of every day. This is an inappropriate conversation to have in the bathroom, he grunts as I help him to sit on the toilet. We should be staring lovingly into each other's eyes, not while I'm sitting on the throne. I don't know about that, I smile mischievously. I mean, you're not wearing pants. It's halfway there, right? You're impossible, he grunts. Call me when you're done, laugh and walk away to give him privacy. The second I close the door behind me, my smile evaporates, and I take a deep breath to calm my nerves. It breaks my heart to see Axel struggle like this, and all I can do is to try and keep up his spirit. Luna and Omega knocks on the door. You have a visitor. I'll be down in a minute, I shout and walk to my dresser to comb my hair. Liana, Axel calls and I hurry to the bathroom. He does not look at me when I help him clean up and get dressed. I cannot even start to imagine how humiliated and emasculated he must feel. I look like Frankenstein's monster, he moans as he looks into the mirror. All stitched up. I'll start worrying about that if you turn yellow or green, I laugh. What do you feel like doing? I ask when he is fully dressed. Boxing match? Arm wrestling? Knitting lessons, he grunts as he walks back to bed. I'll call Drew, I grin. Carol probably already dragged him to one of those classes by now. Watching Drew knit will be entertaining, he chuckles and instantly inch when the pain hits. Damn it, I can't wait for my ribs to heal. Good thing you're an alpha, I kiss him softly. It will be better by tomorrow. I have a visitor, I turn on the television and select his favorite channel. I'll send an omega with your breakfast and will be back as soon as I can. Thanks, wife, he smiles. I hurry towards the office. The last thing I need right now is a visitor. I want to be with Axel. This is a surprise, I smile in disbelief when I see Missy. I heard what happened, she says shyly. How's Axel doing? Healing, I smiles to Fi and show her a seat as I sit down. But that's not why you're here, is it? No, she sighs and looks down as she fumbles with her fingers for a moment before she looks up again. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to blurt it out. Do you know who my father is? I think so, I admit. I do not want to lie to her. She has saved my life before and lies have a nasty habit of biting you in the ass. But I don't think I'm the right person to tell you. It's that married man you and Luther talked about, isn't it? She smirks. Yes, I exhale deeply. Are you willing to do a DNA test? I don't know, she whispers and looks past me through the window. I came this far without him. I don't know if I should open this can of worms. But if he's looking for me, maybe I should. Maybe, Missy, I cut her off softly. I'm sorry, he's not looking for you. I don't think I have the right to tell you everything, but you have a brother and he's the one who wants to connect with you. I have a brother, her eyes widen. And cousins, I smile. If you are indeed the daughter we're looking for. Do you think I'm her? She asks and I swear she sounds hopeful. I do, I nod. But I cannot prove it without a DNA test. We have been wrong once already. I see, she looks down at her fingers. I'll think about it, but it would be nice to have a brother and cousins. A family. There's no pressure, I reassure her. Whenever you're ready. If you're ever ready, just say the word. But why now? She asks with a pained expression. Now that I own a restaurant and doing well? Why not when I was poor and struggling? Mother always said having money is just as problematic as not having money. I never quite understood that, until now. Now I think this brother heard I'm doing well, and he wants a piece. That's not the case, I laugh. I guarantee your brother doesn't want anything from you besides getting to know you. He has enough money. In fact, he would rather give you money than take it from you. And to answer why now, he didn't know about you until he was a young adult. It has been bothering him ever since. It took him years to gather enough courage to look for you. Is he a good man? She asks. Do you know him well? Yes, I do, I nod. And he's a great guy, Missy. Okay, she smiles weakly. I'll think about it. Thanks for seeing me, she stands up and I follow. One more thing, she turns back to me. Adele and Luther invited me to their wedding. Why? I mean, I don't know them that well and it is kind of out of the blue and weird. Didn't Chloe and Bea also receive invitations? I ask patiently. I knew she would wonder when Luther said he wanted to invite her. I can only hope he listened to my advice. Yes, she frowns. Which is also weird. I mean, they are excited but they're also wondering. Well, it's not that weird, laugh softly. Adele came from Clear Moon and half of the pack is invited. You three made the list because you proved to be valuable and honorable pack members. Not every wolf is willing to save a human's life. You're great ambassadors for the pack. Wow, she grins. And all we wanted to do was to kick Brad's A*S for being a jerk. And I'm entirely grateful for that, I smile. Then I guess we'll see you at the wedding tomorrow. Her smile falters and her eyes widen. Sorry, I didn't mean to be insensitive. With Axel's injuries, you. It's any, Missy, I cut her off. We're still going. It's going to take a little more than a couple of broken bones to keep him down. Good, I'm glad, she waves and walks away. Chapter 135. Goddess, you're gorgeous, Liana gasps when she sees me in my wedding gown, and I smile self-consciously when I feel myself blushing. Please don't make it a thing because I'm wearing a dress, I sigh pleadingly. I never thought I would like a dress, but I love my mermaid wedding gown. Mostly because it is not puffy, but also because it tears me like a glove. It's not the dress, it's you, she looks me up and down. Your skin, eyes, hair, everything. You've never been more beautiful than at this moment. Thank you, I accept the compliment and lower my eyes. I know, Adele, she sighs and takes my hands. Surprised, I look at her and am taken aback when I notice she is also tearing up. You're missing your parents, she whispers, squeezing my hands. I know the feeling, and I'm sorry. It's hard, I sniff and fight my tears. I cannot afford to cry, the last thing I want is to redo my makeup. But not unbearable. It's funny. I knew this day would happen without them, and I was any with it. Until now. It is as if all my feelings and emotions intensify. I wasn't prepared for it. I know they would have loved Luther, and they would have been so proud of me. It's terrible walking down the aisle without my dad, and there's nobody who can LL his shoes. It's him or nobody. Well, Liana smiles as she wipes away a stray tear. You're a beautiful bride and I know you're going to be in love and happy with Luther for the rest of your life just like your parents have been. Okay, you got to stop now, laugh weirdly. Otherwise, you're going to make me cry. Then let's get you married, Liana walks over to the dresser and picks up my bouquet. And don't laugh when you see Axel. He looks like a Ken doll. Oh, dear, I burst out laughing as I imagined Axel all stiff with stretched out arms. Thanks for the warning. Liana and I walk towards the backyard in silence. Wow, I mumble when I see what Luther pulled off. I promised him not to peek at what they were doing to the garden. He wanted to surprise me and damn, did he succeed. A red carpet is laid out from the back door to a stunning wedding arch. Harps start playing and I know it is my cue to go. Where did he get black flowers? I look at Liana. Colored water, Liana replies as she fixes the train of my dress. He's so good for me, I mumble as I tear up all over again. Don't cry about it, Adele, Liana says firmly. Marry him for it. Okay, I nod and sniff. You're right, I'll pull myself together. It's just, how did I get so lucky? Look at me, Liana stands in front of me. You deserve this, okay? This is no luck. You've been nothing but a good person to other people, a loyal pack member for Axel and a dependable and loving friend to me. You're supportive of Luther's needs, and you love him. You understand him and make him happy. The same can be said about Luther. Finding each other wasn't luck, Adele. It was meant to be. Now, march down that aisle towards your destiny. Walk me down the aisle, please. I look at her pleadingly. I thought I wanted to do this alone, but I want to share this moment with someone I love. And who better than my best friend? It will be my honor, Liana holds out her arm and happily I take it. I only take a second to admire the flowers and fairy lights and smile at the guests as we walk down the red carpet before Luther and I lock eyes. Instantly, the world disappears, and it is only him and me. It is like I see him for the very first time. I am transported back to Liana's wedding, walking down the aisle and admiring the gorgeous Adonis in a tuxedo. His gaze holds and captives me just like then, but this time I am not cautious or nervous. This time I am eager to be by his side. Luther POV stop laughing, Axel hisses at me as I help him take his place next to me at the wedding arch. I will heal and then I'll kick your ass. Then you shouldn't have told me Liana called you a Ken doll, I chuckle. Now I can't get the image out of my head. I'm going to request Barbie girl after Adele and I open the dance floor. Keep it up, Axel grunts. But payback will be a BH, I promise you that. Laughing, I take my place and quickly scan the crowd. Teasing Axel was a great distraction, but I could not avoid the elephant in the room any longer. My parents accepted the invitation, and I am not sure how I feel about it. A part of me is rejoicing that they are still there for me, but a part is stubbornly kicking against forgiving them. I notice Missy first and I quickly look away when she laughs at something her friend said. I am glad she came. If she turns out to be my sister, I can at least say she was here. I look at the guests and just I think my parents did not come, I see them in the back. Quickly, I look down at my feet to hide my relief. Honestly, I am surprised how happy I am that they came. All those late-night conversations with Adele have rubbed off on me. Yes, my dad did a despicable thing, and yes, my mother is downright a cold-hearted bitch about it, but they are my parents. It does not matter what they have done, they will always be my parents. And they must have done something right to raise me to be good enough for Adele. She is a beautiful and strong woman and will never settle for a shallow, cruel, and cold-hearted bastard. I might not be happy with my parents at the moment, but they deserve to see that through everything, they did something right. We all make mistakes, but we are not always forgiven for it. Harp music LLS the air and I pull myself together. I look at the back door and can hardly breathe as I wait for Adele to appear. She's not coming, Axel whispers. Shut up, I hiss. That's not funny. I know he is just taking advantage of the situation, but for a brief second, my heart stopped beating. Adele has the right to change her mind, what if she exercises that right and breaks my heart? I am a fool for even thinking it, but damn, it is nerve-wracking standing here in front of hundreds of people, waiting for her. It does not matter how sure you are about your aunts and your relationship. When you are standing here, the devil has the power to create havoc with common sense. Payback, he grins. Told you it's a bitch. Axel, I swear I'm going to, I go abruptly quiet when the back door opens and Adele walks out. My heart races as I watch her, and Liana come closer. Liana looks exquisite in her silk black dress, but it is nothing in comparison with Adele. Intently I stare at her to bottle the image for decades to come. Every negative thought, insecurity, or dire feeling evaporates as she walks towards me. My life suddenly makes sense, even the universe makes sense at this moment. Adele is breathtakingly beautiful. I cannot help it, I cannot wait any longer and I walk towards her. All I want is to be with her. Her smile steals all the air from my lungs, and I lean over to kiss her. You're jumping the gun, Luther, Liana teases playfully. Whatever, I mumble and take Adele's hand to walk the last steps. Dear beloved, the wedding of officiants starts, and I turn towards Adele. I hope the man does not have a lot to say, other than I do. I am eager and excited to start our lives together as husband and wife. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the sweet words are finally spoken. You may now kiss the bride. I do not wait for a second invitation, my arms go around Adele's waist, and I kiss her tenderly until the guests start cheering and laughing. Leave something for tonight, Axel probes me in the ribs with his cast. Ah, Ken, you're just jealous, I wink at him and burst out laughing when he turns red in the face. Come on, husband, Adele takes my hand. Our guests are in the mood for a party. Let's get them drunk, I kiss her quickly. So, I can whisk you away and have my way with you. Chapter 136. I can't wait to get out of here, I whisper as I snake my arms around Adele from behind and pull closer to her. I know I pulled off a fabulous wedding, but I have a surprise for you, and we don't need an audience for that. If I weren't ready to leave before, I am now, she turns in my arms to face me. We cut the cake and spoke with most of the guests. I can't see why we can't escape. Luther, Dad says next to me, and I groan inwardly. No. Why now? I want to mark my mate. Hello, Father. Reluctantly I let go of Adele and turn towards him. Adele, Mother smiles. Congratulations. Everything is superb and beautiful. All of this is thanks to Luther, Adele replies proudly and looks up at me. Oh, Mother clamps the pearls around her neck. I'm sorry, I assumed that it's a woman's job, I interrupt her sharply. No, that's not what LVE meant, Mother blushes. It's any, Mom, I sigh. I don't care, and it doesn't matter. All that counts is that the perfect woman for me said yes. But to ease your mind, I had help, okay? Luther, I didn't mean to offend you, she looks awkwardly at Dad. We want to congratulate you, Dad comes to her rescue and hands me an envelope. Wedding gift. Thank you, I nod, take the envelope and pull out the check. Are you insane? I frown when I look at the amount. This is too much, we can't accept it. Luther, please, Dad sighs. It's a gift, nothing more. 10 million isn't a gift, hiss. You're trying to buy your way back into my life. Don't be ridiculous, Dad huffs indignantly. Don't you think I would have tried that earlier if I thought it would work? You're my son, whether you like it or not, I know you. You don't accept bribes or bend your will for money. Every ounce of me wants to object, and I look at Adele. She smiles softly at me, and I calm down. I am not going to ruin our perfect night. Accepting the gift does not mean that. Should use it. Thank you, I clear my throat and put the envelope in my pocket. And thank you for coming. I'm so happy you invited us, Mom's lip starts quivering. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, I smile stiffly and pull Adele closer to me for emotional support. We're about to leave for our honeymoon. We won't keep you, Dad grins. We love you, son, Mom touches my cheek softly before they turn around and leave. Can you believe them? I hiss and turn to Adele. First, they spend money to get rid of a child, then they spend money to get one back. Is money the only language they know? Luther, let it go, Adele says softly. You cannot change them, but you have the choice of how to spend their money. Take the check and make it count. Here, I hand it to her. Deposit it into Moonstone's account as a donation. One less thing to worry about when we're gone. Shouldn't you take some time and think about it? She frowns. No, I shake my head adamantly and she accepts the check. I'm certain I don't want it. Now, if you'll excuse me for a moment. There's one more thing I need to do before we leave. Adele POV. I sigh inwardly as I stare at the piece of paper in my hand. I understand why it upsets Luther so much, but I also think his parents meant no harm. As screwed up as it is, this is his father's way of apologizing. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcement pulls me from my thoughts, and I look up. We have a special request from the groom. I'm a Barbie girl, in a Barbie world. Luther is in the center of the dance floor, moving stiffly like a doll as he points towards Axel. Axel glares at Luther, who is waving at him as he walks over to me. You're wicked, I laugh as Luther takes my hand and leads me away. Believe me, he would have done the same if the roles were reversed, Luther chuckles. Strangely enough, I believe you, I laugh. Are we there yet? I grunt, frustrated. Luther blindfolded me the second we got into the car. It feels like we have been driving for hours and I have no idea where we are going. 5 more minutes, he replies. You said that 5 minutes ago, I complain. I know, he laughs, and I can tell he is enjoying this. I refuse to say a word until we finally stop. Don't take it off, he says as he gets out. A second later, my door opens, and he takes my head. Be careful, he warns as we start walking. The pathway, road, or whatever we are walking on, is rocky and I concentrate not to bump a toe or sprain an ankle. I listen intently to the quiet surroundings and sniff in the air. We're in the woods. I exclaim. I'm right, aren't I? Yes, he sounds defeated. You can take off the blindfold. I laugh victoriously as I pull it off but gasp for air the second I realize what I am looking at. A treehouse, I mumble in awe. This is no ordinary treehouse. It is more like a cottage in a tree. I remember how much you liked it when we saw it on TV, he intertwines our fingers and kisses me softly. This is perfect, I smile. Thank you. I didn't even know there's a place like this nearby, I say excitedly as we climb the spiral staircase. It's not nearby, he chuckles. We're still on Moonstone. Moonstone. I gape at him, abergast. How is it that I did not know about this gem on my own grounds? This was built specially for you, he kisses me quickly before he opens the door. Dumbstruck, I look from him into the treehouse. Lanterns are burning all over, engulfing the interior in a soft, romantic glow. Luther, this, words escape me as I walk towards the king-size bed. I have never seen anything so perfect. From the couch overlooking the forest to the basic kitchenette in the corner. Goddess alone knows how he did this. The entire place gives me a feeling of warmth and serenity. I love this. I turn to him and put my arms around his neck. I love you. I kiss him lovingly as I push myself closer to him. I am overwhelmed with love and gratitude. He is the perfect man for me and there is nothing more in the world that I desire than to belong to him. Without interrupting the kiss, I strip his jacket off his shoulders and start undoing his pants. Eagerly he helps me to get rid of his shirt, shoes, and pants before he swings me around. His lips are warm on my neck and shoulders as he tediously slowly unzips my dress. The gown pulls around my feet and Luther's lips trail down my back. He unhooks my bra and kneels as he continues caressing my back lower and lower. He slowly pulls down my panties and I lean forward, resting my hands on the bed. His lips move over my A*S, down the back of my thighs before he slightly spread my legs. I gasp in delight when his tongue glides sensually over from my N. Please to the back. My fingers curl into the linen when his finger glides inside me while his tongue continues its sweet torture. His name is a mantra on my lips as ecstasy builds higher and higher. I moan out loud when he stops and stands up. He picks me up and lays me down on the bed before he nestles between my legs. I've been waiting for this moment since the first time saw you, he mumbles as he starts kissing my neck. Yes, please, I shamelessly beg as I put my legs around his waist. He enters me slowly and I sigh contently. Our kiss is long and lingering as he glides in and out of me until our need for one another gets the upper hand. Our rhythm increases rapidly, and my muscles tighten around him as my desire builds. Ready? He kisses my neck again. Yes, I pant and pull him closer. Simultaneously we mark each other and my orgasm ruptures over me. Luther's arms go around me like steel clamps, and I lick his mark tenderly as my body slowly returns to normal. Thank you, I cling to him as emotions overwhelm me. This is everything I dreamt of and more. I didn't know I could be this happy. I love you, my wife, he mind links me. I love you, I reply before kissing him. Chapter 137. Come on, I grunt as I yank and pull on my cast. But it is no easy task since half of my fingers are stuck in the casts. Axel, what are you doing? Liana asks as she walks into the office. I can hear you from outside moaning and struggling. It's day 3, wife, I reply as I keep on fighting my cast. My arms are healed, and I can finally get rid of this. And now you're trying to rip it off like a brute, she rolls her eyes as she sits down on a couch. Because we don't own anything resembling a saw or know a doctor with the precise tools. Not only will I be free from the restraints, I master all my strength and rip the cast open. I'm also testing my strength. Victoriously I hold up the first cast in the air. It is ripped to shreds and I wiggle my fingers. Right as rain, grin satisfied as I start with the other cast. I don't know how humans survive like this for months. 3 days were plenty. This is no test of strength, Liana laughs. This is impatience. Let's agree to disagree, I snort. Truth is, ripping these things off rid me of my frustration and anger. I buried and tugged my anger deep inside since the accident. I desire nothing more than to kill the bastards responsible for nearly killing my unborn child and wife. My mind went far and wild when I was stuck in bed for 2 days. Blood-curdling thoughts of what could have happened bombarded my mind. Not to mention the guilt. If Liana had listened to me and ignored her phone, she would have been dead. I took her on the date, and I was the driver. The rational part of me knows I am not responsible, but Elle cannot contain the guilt. I pissed off Jack and Philip. She is in this mess because of me. Because she is married to me. And when your mind is on re, but your body is out of commission, you easily go insane. I promised myself that as soon as I could, I would find and murder those animals slowly and painfully. Those thoughts and feelings were bottled up, and I did not speak my mind. For Adele and Luther's sake. They deserved a peaceful wedding. Now they are basking in honeymoon bliss, and I do not have to keep my emotions to myself. I'm starting a hunt today, I look at Liana and brace myself for her outburst. I want the enforcers. Okay, she surprises me. We should start with the factory. Based on what Adele told us, I think we'll get our answers there. Not the factory, I shake my head. Not yet anyway. Sniffing around there so soon after Adele's visit might raise red flags and I don't want to tip them off. Jack's private estate. She frowns. Did you find a way to get that information? You were denied even before Adele took over as alpha. I called in every favor I could, I sigh. And it finally paid off. I had an interesting telephone call. Mary's niece, Hannah, inherits everything. And guess who her new boyfriend is? Alpha Philip. Liana's eyes widen in surprise. Indeed, I snort. Either he's greedy or he's to destroy Jack, even after death. And before you ask, no, they're not mates. Do you think Hannah is involved with their plans? She asks. No, I shake my head. She's still a child. She turned 18 a month ago. And her parents allow her to date a man 7 years her senior. Liana gasps. He's an alpha, I smirk. Of course, her parents will allow it. Please kill me when I allow our daughter to date an evil bastard because he's an alpha, Liana scoffs. Right after I kill myself, I grin. Unfortunately, we know where the money goes, we don't know where it came from. All the deposits were made in cash by Jack's beta, James. We reached the end of the paper trail. All that drama for information and it leads nowhere, Liana grunts. Maybe we should visit Philip. He loves the sound of his own voice. Especially if he can gloat about his superior intelligence and how he's about to screw you over. Yeah, I don't like that, I sigh. It takes too much energy to control myself and not slap the snot out of him. Which brings us right back to the factory, Liana laughs. I've been looking at the timesheets Sheldon gave to Adele. I stand up and hand her a copy. It's the same group of people working overtime. Do you think they're the last of the enforcers? Liana frowns as she looks at the names. Could be, I shrug. But I'm certain all of them know what's going on. Why else would they be the only ones allowed to work overtime? Hold on, Liana pales and she looks at me. Sam Mayfield. Do you know him? I frown and sit next to her. No, she shakes her head. But Nikki's stepfather, Sam, works at the factory. Do you have a full employee register? Yes, I jump up and walk to my desk. Eagerly I get the LE and return to my seat next to Liana. Together we read the names. No other Sam or Samuel except for Mayfield, Liana mumbles. And Luther banished him, I exhale deeply. No way he'll help us now. Nikki might, Liana says hopefully. She wasn't banished, and she was devastated when she learned Luther wasn't her brother. I watched her when we planned the wedding, the adoration is still there. She might convince Sam to help us if Luther asks her nicely. It's worth a try, I stand up and walk back to my desk. We should also reach out to the murdered man's family. They might be so desperate for answers and closure that they would talk to us. Has he been identified? Liana asks curiously. The last thing Adele did before saying I do, was sending his information. I page through the LE until I find the incident report. Our skydiver's name was, shit. What? Liana jumps up and rushes towards me. It was Sam Mayfield, I grunt as I hand her the document and sit down behind my desk. Nikki didn't say anything, Liana mumbles as she stares at the name. She didn't even look sad. Well, not more than usual. In a sense, she's like a child and is incapable of hiding her emotions. Maybe this Sam Mayfield isn't her stepfather after all. Either he's not or she dislikes him enough not to mourn him, I grunt frustrated. I'm going to visit Nikki, Liana says adamantly. And pay my respects. She and I have worked alongside for a week, and she will not end my visit suspicious. If this Sam's not her stepfather, she'll tell me. I'm coming with you, I reply. No, Liana says firmly. She doesn't know you and might not talk freely with you around. Please don't take this the wrong way, I look at her pleadingly. I fought with you side by side. I know you can hold your own, but you're pregnant, love. I would feel better if you don't do this alone. Liana looked at me intensely before a smile spread over her face. I won't go alone, she grins mischievously. I'll take Missy with me. Missy? I gape. Why would you take her? Missy and Nicolette used to be best friends, Liana shrugs. Nikki will trust her. Also, Missy can kick ass if it comes down to it. And what are you going to tell Missy? I frown. You can't share any of this with her. Everybody knows about the accident, Axel, Liana sighs. I don't have to tell her anything other than Sam's related to Nicolette. Missy understands the loss of a parent. Fine, I agree reluctantly. But for the record, I don't like it. You're supposed to be calm and relaxed. Not placing yourself in harm's way. Visiting Nikki isn't dangerous, she says softly and sits down on my lap. I put my arms around her waist and pull her closer. Going on a date isn't dangerous, I scoff as she runs her fingers through my hair. And look how that turned out. GT happens, love, she kisses me softly. It's part of life and we can't control it. I know, lovingly I stroke her cheek as I look into her eyes. Liana is strong and can take care of herself. And I might be strong enough to keep myself alive, but I am not strong enough to live without her. I just won't survive if I lose you. I know the feeling, she mumbles before kissing me. I had to listen to the silence when your heart stopped beating, she whispers and rests her forehead against mine. And they will pay for every single silent second. Chapter 138. Out with it, Missy turns to me. Why are you really taking me to see Nicolette? We haven't seen each other in decades. Glance at David, who is driving us to Moonstone before I smile at her. I knew Missy would not fall for my lame explanation that Nikki needs a friend, but I did not expect her to call me out on it. Because you know how it feels when everybody disappears, I reply. Her mother is banished and her stepfather dead. She's going to feel alone and deserted. When I lost my mother, I had loved ones to support me. Nikki doesn't have that luxury. May I ask why her mother is banished? She asks curiously. It's up to her to tell you everything, I exhale deeply. But they lied to the Alpha and neglected a pack member in need. I hate lies, Missy says absent-mindedly and stares out of the window. Or half-truths. Missy, technically this isn't my business, I say adamantly. And therefore, it's not my place to tell you everything. I didn't mean you, she says quickly and looks at me. I was thinking about my mother. She never told me the truth about my father. My entire life I had the choice to either lie about him or admit the humiliating truth that I don't know who he is. I'm sorry, I reach over and squeeze her hand gently. Don't be, you're not my father, she shrugs and smiles at me. But I've been thinking about our previous conversation. I want to know who my father is. Okay, I nod. I'll arrange for a DNA test. Once is confirmed we'll take it further. Thanks, she inhales deeply. I admit, it's scary for me. I know myself, I'm going to be disappointed if I'm not that man's child. Why? I ask softly. Because I'm going to be back at square one, she sighs. I have no longing to get to know the man or have a relationship with him. I just want to know my roots. I want to be able to visit the doctor and complete the section about family history. It's a simple thing, I know. But those empty lines make me feel incomplete. Would you like to meet him someday? I study her face for the truth. I don't know, she shrugs. He would be able to answer some of my questions, but I don't know if I want to know the truth. The truth can hurt. That it does, I agree and remember my mother's confession that she did not want me. But it can also be freeing. Once my mother told me the truth, I could move forward. I've made up my mind, she smiles. I want to know. I too decide afterwards if I regret it. And if I do, well, I'll get over it. It won't be the first time. I smile and look away. There is no doubt in my mind Missy is Luther's sister. Edith Chester practically admitted it. Missy is a phenomenal person and Gary missed out when he cut her out of his life. I wonder if Nicolette will be happy to see me, Missy mumbles as David parks in front of the house. Or recognize me. We'll know soon enough, I reply as David opens the door for me and gets out. Except for the lawn and rose bushes, the place has not changed one bit. In silence, we walk to the door and knock. Luna, Nikki's eyes widen when she recognizes me. Am I in trouble? Hello, Nikki, may we come in, please? I smile sweetly. Oh, yes, sorry, she mumbles as she quickly opens the door and allows us inside. I'm sorry, excuse the mess. I didn't expect company. No apologies needed, I say softly and follow her to the living room. Nikki is either a slob or she has been too grief-stricken to clean up. Empty cups and plates are on every surface. There is more than one pair of shoes on the floor and a box with a half-eaten pizza is rotting on the coffee table. I'm so sorry, she blushes and closes the box. You must think I'm filthy and, it's okay, Nikki, I say calmly. We're not checking up on you, we're here to support you. We. She frowns and looks at Missy. After a moment, she pales, and her jaw drops to the floor. Missy? Is that really you? Hello, Nicolette, she smiles. It's been a while. It's really you, a sob bursts through Nikki before she throws arms around Missy's neck. I never thought I'd see you again. Why would you think that? Missy frowns as she looks at me while holding Nikki. I'm just in the pack next door. Really? Nikki sniffs and pulls away. Mom said you moved after your mother passed away. Wow, I mouth the word at Missy and raise my eyebrows. Let's sit down, Missy suggests and leads Nikki to the closest sofa. And then you can tell me everything that happened since we last saw each other. Silently, I sit in the corner and listen to Nikki blabbing about the last 2 decades. I am bored out of my mind as I listen from her first pimple to her first boyfriend. What I do find conspicuous is that she hardly mentions Sam. It is mother this and mother that, but she remains silent about her stepfather. Nikki also does not breathe a word about Luther or about finding her biological father. Nikki, I finally speak when it feels like my intelligence is dying by listening to her rambling. I'm sorry about Sam's passing. Thanks, Luna, she replies stiffly and avoids eye contact. How's your mother doing? I ask softly. I would like to see her and offer my condolences. She's NE under the circumstances, Nikki replies brusquely, and I look at her intently. Her entire demeanor has changed. The chirpy girl from a second ago is now an angry, broody teenager. I would like to, you've done enough, she snaps at me. Excuse me, I raise my eyebrows. I'm sorry, she stutters, but she does not look sorry at all. With all due respect, Luna, the last time you spoke with my mother, she got exiled. You're the last person she would like to see. Nicolette, Missy's words are soft and kind. Luna Liana only wants to pay her respects. That bastard committed suicide and nearly killed her and Alpha Axel, Nikki explodes. It's not mother's fault, you hear me? Nikki looks at me with blazing words. You can't blame and punish her because of what he did. Nicolette, I don't blame your mother for anything, say firmly. She must be divested and... Can she come back now? Nikki interrupts me with wild and stormy eyes. Now that he's dead, can she come back home? I have no authority in Moonstone, I reply. But I will speak with Alpha Adele. Thank you, she nods and looks down at her hands. Nicolette, why did you call Sam a bastard? I ask and her head jerks up. What has he done? Nothing, she looks past me at the wall. He provided well for us. Being a provider doesn't make him a good father or husband, I argue. Did he hurt you or your mother? I can see Nicolette breaking before my eyes, and I know the answer without her saying a word. Everything makes sense to me. Her childlike demeanor. Her adoration for Luther. The desperation to belong to a family other than Sam's. Her stepfather broke her, and the fantasy of finding a kind and loving biological brother was her escape from the horror show which was her life. Nikki, look at me, I order and wait until she obeys. I wish he was alive so that I could kill him slowly and painfully for what he's done to you. He didn't, he was good, he's dead, Nicolette, I cut her off and walk towards her. He's gone, I kneel and take her hands in mine. You don't have to lie and protect him ever again. He can't hurt you anymore. I hate him, she blurts out. He killed my baby and I hate him. Does your mother know? I ask softly. She tried to protect me, she starts crying. She nearly died trying. So, I stopped fighting him. He tied her down and made her watch as he, it's okay, I stroke her hair. You don't have to talk about it. I was a good girl, her voice is hoarse, and her brown eyes are soaked in pain. But he didn't care. He hurt me and Mom. He was furious when he learned about the pregnancy. That night, he beat Mom to the brink of death and kicked me in the stomach until I passed out. I woke up in a white room and my baby was gone. Pack your bags, Nikki, I say softly and stand up. You're coming with me. Please no, she begs. I didn't want him to, Nicolette, I cut her off smiling. You're not being banished. You didn't do anything wrong. You're coming home with me so that we can get you the help you need. Oh, she sniffs and stands up. Okay. Chapter 139. Why are you taking her to Clear Moon? Missy asks once we are alone. Wouldn't it be better for her to stay in her pack? She can return once Luther and Adele are back, I reply as I pace the room. I am furious and need to calm down because Nikki might interpret that my anger is directed at her. She shouldn't be alone. Look at this place, she's not capable of functioning normally. She needs psychiatric help. She can get that here, Missy argues. In her pack where she has friends. She going to need them now more than ever. Why are you so persistent that she stays here? I frown. I want what's best for her, she replies. This is her pack and everything familiar is here. She's going to need a little stability and familiarity to feel safe. We only scratched the surface here. Knows what else she's going to tell us. Missy, I'm willing to bet this is the first time Nikki told anybody the truth, I say firmly. And I'm sure she wouldn't have told us if Sam was still alive. She was prepared to take this secret to the grave. Her friends can't give her the support she needs, not before she's willing to tell them what happened. Sam's control over her and her mother was a form of structure and discipline that she got used to. Now he's gone, and she's lost. She's free and has no idea how to cope with the freedom. She tucked her feelings away deeply and when they surface, she won't know how to handle them. Don't you find it odd that she admitted it to us? Missy frowns. After 20 plus years, I'm a stranger to her. You're also a happy memory, I sigh. You said it yourself, you were practically sisters back then. She trusted and loved you. You never hurt or betrayed her. She needs you, Missy, not her friends. I'll be there for her, Missy says adamantly. No child deserves this. Yet, I exhale deeply. You dodged a bullet here. What do you mean? Missy frowns. Are you telling me you don't know? Curiously, I look at her. Did nobody tell her that Edith was her guardian after her mother died? I know she has no idea about the money, but surely social services must have told her no what. She frowns. Edith Chester was appointed your legal guardian, I admit softly. But she said she couldn't afford to take you in. Impossible, my mother had no testament, Missy scoffs. Dear goddess, I close my eyes and roll my neck to release the tension. Were there no honest people in that generation? Everywhere I turn, somebody hides the truth. Your mother had one, Missy. Edith confirmed it. Damn, Missy sits down and looks at me with big eyes. Remind me to find and thank her. Foster care was tough, but it wasn't this. Yet, and now I feel bad for judging Edith, I sigh. I thought she was greedy and selfish for not taking you. Now we know she protected you. I bet she didn't even tell Sam about me, Missy shakes her head. If he knew. I don't even want to think about it. Ready, Nikki announces from the door with 2 suitcases, and I turn to face her. She looks scared, I realize. It must be terrifying leaving the only place you knew as home after you confessed your darkest secret. LOL help you, Missy jumps up and takes a suitcase. You and I together like the old days. Nikki, I smile softly. Where's your mother? I would very much like for her to join us. Really? She looks at me with sparkling eyes. That would be so nice. Yes, it would, I smile and take her hand. Let's go. Axel POV ouch, that bad, I frown when Liana walks into the FCE. She is gravely pale, and her blue eyes are the color of the restless seas. Worse, she grunts and sits down on the couch. So much worse. How can I help? I get up from behind my desk, sit down next to her and pull her into my embrace. I need a barrel of wine, she sighs. In about a year, I kiss her on her forehead. When you're done breastfeeding. I thought I had it rough as a child, she snorts. But it's a walk in the park compared to Nikki's. I'm as angry as I'm sad for her. I do not say a word as she continues ranting. She needs to get it out of her system. Sam Mayeld is a child molester and wife beater, she blurts out the words and my blood freezes. I cannot move and I am hardly breathing while she tells me what happened. We found Edith drunk out of her mind in a cheap, dirty motel. Liana closes her eyes as if she wants to forget what she has seen and heard. Nikki was already emotionally unstable and went hysterical when she saw Edith in that state. The weight of the secret she carried for all these years, and the thought that the only person who tried to protect her might be dead, broke her. I brought them here. I assigned 2 Omegas to help Edith get sober and clean up. Missy is with Nikki in one of the guest rooms. T2 call Michelle, I clear my throat, and place my hand protective over her baby bump. I do not want to imagine what I will do if somebody lays a finger on my children. I already did, Liana sighs. This is a matter for professionals. I'm afraid Nikki might go over the rails now that the wall has started to crack. And Edith? I ask softly. We'll only know once she's sober, she replies. But if it were me, I wouldn't be any. And Edith is the only one that can answer our questions. Even if Nikki knew, we can't ask her. She's been through enough, we can't put more pressure on her. Do you think she'll help us? I frown. Sam was her mate and she stayed with him even at the cost of her child. She could very well still be loyal towards him. I honestly don't know, Liana exhales deeply. I misjudged her from the start. I thought she was a strong, content woman. Cold even. She wasn't insecure and withdrawn like most battered women. You found her passed out in a motel, I reason. She's not as tough as she looks. I'll ask Edith to join our pack. Or if she wants, I'll ask Adele to take her back. She shouldn't be exiled any longer. I agree, she smiles weakly. But I don't think they should go back to Moonstone. The moment the enforcers learn we know the truth, they will target Edith. She might know too much. I want to protect them, I say cautiously. But keeping them here could endanger our pack. More precisely you and our children. You're right, Liana looks at me thoughtfully. We should kill them. Love, we will kill the enforcers, but first, we need to find them, I say patiently. Not the enforcers, she scoffs. Edith and Nikki. We should fake their deaths so that they wouldn't search for them. Not a bad idea, I nod as I overthink her words. We're going to need bodies, though. Not if there's a Liana smiles wickedly. And Adele will control the scene and investigation. None will be the wiser. It's a good plan, but you should consider how it will impact them, I reason. Nikki already had a mental breakdown. She might not be strong enough to play dead and stay in hiding. Love, Nikki wouldn't even know, Liana says sadly. She will be safely admitted under an alias while we hunt the enforcers. I only have one concern, I frown. We don't know who we can trust from Moonstone, except for Gwen and Neil. One of the investigators might be an enforcer in hiding. And not following protocol will also raise red flags. We cannot contain the scene entirely. Then we should do it in plain sight, Liana lifts her chin adamantly. People must witness the event. It will raise less questions. How do you propose we do that? I raise my eyebrows. People have seen and talked to them since Sam died. Nikki seemed normal at the wedding. If they see her now, they might wonder. Not to mention that everyone knows Luther gave Sam and Edith the boot. Sam's funeral, Liana smiles. He might have been exiled, but he still needs to be buried. People always crumble and fall apart at a funeral. Nikki will be no different. If we do this, we must be careful, I warn. Innocent bystanders could get hurt. Let me talk to Edith when she is sober, Liana nods. With more information, we will devise the perfect plan. Adele and Luther will have to cut their honeymoon short, I sigh and stand up to phone them. Chapter 140. Liana POV Luna, Edith is awake, and asking for you, and Omega reports. Is she sober? I ask surprised and put my book down. I did not expect Edith to wake up until tomorrow morning. Not entirely, the Omega pulls a face. And she won't be until tomorrow morning. I'll see her when she's sober, I roll my eyes and pick up my book. I enjoyed a great meal at dinner and indulged in a luxurious bath. No way I'm spoiling my good mood. I know I sound selfish and entitled, but it was after Nikki's confession. It took a lot to find my composure again. Especially after Michelle examined Nikki and told us the true horrors she had to endure. Luna, she also wants to see Nikki, the Omega rings her fingers nervously. Should I tell her she's gone? No, I exhaled deeply and put the book down again. I will just have to suck it up and face Edith. Exactly how drunk is she? Well, I wouldn't let her drive, she giggles. But she's aware and her speech is normal. Thanks, I dismiss her and stand up. I do not like Edith, and I do not know why. I am sympathetic to her situation and feel bad for judging her. She did not do or say anything to justify my feelings towards her. I simply just do not like her. I knock twice on Edith's door before entering the room. Edith has taken a shower and cleaned up. If I had not seen her lying in her own vomit earlier today, I would never know she was still intoxicated. Luna, she jumps out of the chair and walks towards me. I'm so sorry about, you know. Do you even remember today? I raise my eyebrows. No, embarrassment colored her cheeks red. An Omega told me. Sit down, Edith, I sigh and sit down. I wait until she settles into a chair. Tell me what happened. I was sad, she shrugs and looks down at her fumbling fingers. I had a drink, and after the second one I didn't see a reason to stop. Are you often so sad? I ask. No, she glances at me before looking down again. Just, sometimes when things get too much. Times like when Sam beat you, Nikki. I know my words are merciless and cruel, but it is effective. Edith turns as white as a ghost and her eyes wide when she looks at me. You know, she croaks. Who told you? You're not denying it, so it's irrelevant, I shrug. But now is the time to tell me your version. What do you want me to say? Her bottom lip starts quivering. My husband was abusive and sometimes I would drink to cope. I don't see the need for gory details. Have you ever tried leaving him? I ask softly. Or report him? I thought about it all the time. She sniffs and looks up at the ceiling. But I couldn't. Sam was a bastard, but he was my bastard and I loved him. Not even when he started abusing Nikki. I intertwine my fingers. It is common for women to stay with their abusive husbands. I even understand that. Fear, doubt, and control are only a few factors why women stay. But should she not, as a mother, at least try and break free for the sake of her child? He never hit her, she croaks. No, I sneer. He only kicked her senselessly when she was pregnant with his child. That only happened once, she looks at me with blazing eyes. His STS were reserved for me only. He never laid a hand on her. Are you kidding me? I explode. He RD her. Only the first time, she argues. After that Nikki allowed him to have sex with her. Close my eyes and take a deep breath to stop myself from beating this woman myself. Did Sam beat common sense out of her? Edith, my voice is low and ominous. Nikki never allowed him anything. She simply took it out of fear. Do you think it was fun for me? She looks at me with disgust. Laying in bed, feeling the pain of betrayal while knowing you're too old and ugly to satisfy your mate. I begged him to stay away from her, but he literally spat in my face and beat me. Is that why you killed him? I change the subject. Arguing with her about Sam's abuse is futile. She is either too stupid to comprehend what happened in her household or Sam has beaten her brain to the size of a pea. Because I would kill my husband if he touched my child. No, I didn't, it wasn't me, he committed suicide, she stutters with wide eyes. Bullshit, I sneer. He was murdered, and you know it. It wasn't me. She shouts and jumps out of the chair. I swear, it wasn't me. Sit down, I order, and she silently obeys. Who killed him? And don't tell me you don't know because you do. I don't know their names, she mumbles and avoids eye contact. Your husband was an enforcer and you're expecting me to believe you never met his gang. I scoff. I'm not discussing them with you, she says adamantly. Nothing you will do to me will be worse than what they'll do. If they know I'm here talking about them, I will face a fate far worse than death. Have it your way, I stand up. I'm sure they won't come looking for you at your motel. Especially if they know you spend a night here and Nikki has left Moonstone. What have you done to her? Edith yells and jumps up. What you should have done the first time Sam looked at her with LT, I hiss. I took her to safety and got her the help she needs. You're so quick to judge but you weren't there, she shouts. I had nowhere to go. Sam refused that I work. I had no money and no friends I could turn to. There was no Alpha Axel or Alpha Adele I could turn to. Only Jack, the founder of the Enforcers. Reich was not the worst thing that could have happened to her, believe me. She lost her uterus. I snap. Whoever did the abortion butchered her and she will never have children. The price for loving Sam was your grandchild and her uterus. No man is worth that much, I don't care how much you loved him. Elle didn't know that, pain flushes over her face. Edith, please, sigh to calm myself. Help me find the men that did that to her. You couldn't protect her against Sam, but you can help her find justice. Sheldon, she mumbles and sits down. He's an enforcer and did the abortion. Thank you, I say relieved. It is a start. Where's Nikki? She asks softly. I must say goodbye. They will know I told you about Sheldon and then they'll come for me. No, they won't, I say firmly. We're going to have a beautiful funeral for Sam, and then you and Nikki will disappear. They will never find you. Where's Nikki? She asks again as if she has not heard a word I said. She had a mental breakdown, Edith, I say softly. She's been admitted and is getting the best medical care we can provide. I'll call the doctor and ask him when you can see her. I didn't know they mutilated her, she buries her face in her hands and starts sobbing. Sam said she had a miscarriage and he kicked her so many times. I didn't think the baby could survive it. The miscarriage made sense. It's not your fault, I rest my hand on her shoulder. That's on Sam. Don't worry about it, Edith. We'll take care of everything. You and Nikki will not be hurt again. Thank you, Luna, she sniffs, stands up and lays down on the bed. I sigh inwardly as I look at the pathetic bundle on the bed. I am furious with her. If she only left Sam, none of this would have happened to her and Nikki. Allowing your husband to abuse you is one thing. Allowing him to abuse your child, another. But she is right. I was not there. Sam was not shy with his STS. I did not endure the abuse or walk in her shoes. I do not know how overwhelming her fear was. There is no guarantee what I would have done if I were Edith. We all think we know how we will react and what we will do in situations, but when reality strikes, we could do the opposite. Besides, blaming her is not going to solve anything. All I can do is help them forward. I turn away and walk towards the door. It is time to meet Sheldon. Chapter 141. Liana Pova, Beauty and the Brain, Luther says jovially as he and Adele join me and Axel in the office. How nice to see you again. Stop flirting with my wife, Axel grunts and Luther bursts out laughing. You're the beauty, he chuckles. She's the brain. It takes one to know one, Axel smirks. Pretty little Luna. Before you two pull out the makeup and head for the catwalk, we have work to do, Adele intervenes. I didn't cut my honeymoon short for nothing. There's no need for a catwalk, Axel laughs as we sit. Everybody knows I'll kick his ass in every department. Except for the swimsuit section, Luther laughs. My nicks are more symmetrical than yours. That's enough, ladies, I silence them with a smile. We have work to do. Everybody is quiet as I bring them up to speed. The funeral will be Saturday, I conclude. Nikki and Edith must disappear right after. That's in 3 days, Adele says thoughtfully. That's enough time for us to investigate the factory before then. It's too dangerous, Axel shakes his head. We can't take the risk of agitating Sheldon before the funeral. We need the enforcers to believe that we're still clueless about their existence. What makes you so certain the enforcers will come to the funeral? Luther looks at me. They'll come when we bury Sam on Moonstone, I smirk. Sam's an exiled wolf, normally he wouldn't be buried on pack grounds. Especially not if he committed suicide and nearly killed an alpha in the process. Not to mention that Edith is suddenly under the alpha's protection. They'll immediately start to wonder what Sam told his wife and how much she told us. We'll install a surveillance camera before the time, Axel continues. We will be able to identify all attendings. There's no doubt in my mind that Sheldon, the manager, is the same person who performed the abortion on Nikki. Adele looks at us. Sheldon is performing illegal operations at the factory. I'm certain of it. Why else would a surgeon put away his scalpel to become a factory manager? Maybe, Luther frowns. But how is it lucrative for them? Washington is one of the states where abortions are legal. Why pay a mountain of money if you can get it done for a dime at a clinic? Because we're surrounded by states with limited or no access, I answer him. And Sheldon could be performing other elective surgeries at half the price. In Nikki's case, Sheldon helped a friend. Look at the people working overtime, Axel says. It's the same 7 people every time. 7. The amount of personnel usually in a surgical room. Okay, Adele nods. We're not investigating the factory this week. But we should figure out why Philip Bainey TS from this. There are so many possibilities, Axel sighs. He could be recruiting patients or transporting and harboring them. He could also be blackmailing them, Luther adds. He could have figured out what they were doing. Doubtful, I shake my head. Jack would have killed him before allowing Philip to blackmail him. Well, sitting here and speculating isn't going to get things done, Adele stands up. We're going to Moonstone and start with the funeral arrangements. And we'll arrange for Edith and Nikki's death, Axel replies. Luther POV. There's one more thing, Liana says before Adele and I can leave. The matter of your sister. Liana stands up, walks to the desk and picks up an envelope. Missy did a DNA test and here are the results. What does it say? I accept the envelope with trembling fingers. I don't know, she smiles. It's not my place to open it. I stare at it for a moment before I rip it open. She's my sister, I mumble. Missy is my sister. Congratulations, I guess, Axel says awkwardly. I don't know what the appropriate response is. Neither do I snort. I don't even know what to do next. I wanted to find her so badly and now that the time has come, I'm confused. Start by telling her, Liana advises. Missy wants to meet you. Thanks, I nod and put the envelope in my back pocket. I'll do that. Adele and I say our goodbyes and walk to the car. This is what you wanted, right? Adele asks softly as we climb into the car. To find her. Since I learned I had a sibling, I felt guilty, I sigh. Guilty because I had two parents who wanted me. I never went to bed hungry or afraid. I never needed anything. I always wondered if they were okay. Now I know she wasn't. She's entitled to riches, but she grew up poor. She's entitled to two parents and a safe home, but she had neither when her mother died. I thought finding her and making amends would take the guilt away. But I know her story and I feel worse than ever. But it wasn't your fault. Adele places her hand on my thigh. You didn't do those things to her. I was 21 when her mother died, I continue. I was old enough and able enough to take care of her. I should have tried harder to find her back then. She could have avoided foster care. Well, you didn't, Adele says firmly. Your father abandoned her, not you. You could have found her earlier, but you didn't. Dwelling on things that didn't happen is not going to solve anything or make you feel better. What's past is past, you only have now and the future. You're right, I smile and accelerate. What are you doing? Adele looks at me curiously. I'm going to meet my sister, I smile and steer the car towards the restaurant. Good, Adele smiles. I'm hungry anyway. My mind and gut are in turmoil as we enter the restaurant. What if she does not like me? I feel ridiculous for thinking it. I am a grown man, for crying out loud. Can you ask Missy to join us? Adele smiles at the waitress once we are seated. Yes, Alpha, she nods and walks away. Relax, Adele reaches over and takes my hand. She won't bite. But she might ban us from her establishment, grin weakly. And you're hungry. Hello, Missy appears next to our table. How may I help you? For starters, you can join us, Adele smiles brightly and Missy takes a seat. And excuse me for a second while I visit the ladies' room. Is everything okay? Missy frowns as she watches Adele leave. Yes, I nod. That's Adele's subtle way of giving us a moment of privacy while I inform you about your father. My father, she mumbles. So, I was a match. Yes, I confirm softly. Do you still want to know who he is? I know he doesn't want anything to do with me, she sighs. And it's any. I don't even want to know his reasons. I just want to stop looking at men of a certain age and wonder. So, I'm ready, she lifts her chin. Whose bastard child am I? My father's, I say and her jaw drops. I'm your half-brother, Missy. And I'm so incredibly sorry I didn't find you earlier and for what my father has done to you and your mother. Brother, she croaks. I'm sorry, I sigh. Are you sorry you're my brother? She frowns. Not at all, I say hastily. From what Liana tells me, you're a marvelous person and I'm blessed to have a sister like you. Hold on, she raises her hands and closes her eyes for a second. If you're my brother, and Axel is your cousin then he's my cousin as well. Yes, Missy, I chuckle. You're an alpha. Please, she snorts. Half an alpha. My mother was an omega. And Liana was a human, I reason. That doesn't make Connor and his unborn sister any less alpha. I have nieces and nephews, her eyes tear up. Distant, but still. And once you and Adele have children, there will be more. I have a family. Can you imagine Christmas? Everybody together with children running around. Before we decorate the tree, can I please enjoy the honeymoon first? I snort. I'm sorry, Missy wipes her tears. It's just. I have a family. I'm sorry it took me so long to find you, my voice is hoarse as I reach over and gently touch her hand. My heart is beating rapidly in fear that she might pull away, but instead, she takes my hand and I relax. It doesn't matter, she sniffs. You found me. Are those happy or sad tears? Adele smiles as she joins us. Happy, Alpha, Missy laughs. Alpha. Adele raises her eyebrows. You're my sister-in-law, you get to call me Adele. Lunch with family, Missy says dreamily. I thought about my father so many times, but I never got to the part where I have a family. We need champagne, I wink the waitress closer. We still have a lot to discuss. Chapter 142. Liana POV. I hold Connor until he starts wiggling to get free. I kiss him all over his face until he laughs before I put him down. Are you ready to go? Axel's arms go around my waist and he pulls me against his chest. No, I exhale deeply. Leaving him is the hardest part of every day. The sooner we get this done, the sooner you'll see him again, Axel comforts me as he takes my hand. We should really look into activities which involve our children, I smirk as I follow him outside. Killing isn't age appropriate. We'll do ice cream tomorrow, Axel chuckles. Or the petting zoo, I say exhaustively as we walk outside towards our waiting entourage. He loves animals. Liana, don't start, he groans painfully. Connor's too young for a puppy and, I know, I roll my eyes. There won't be time for a puppy once Alana is born. I said petting zoo, Axel, not a pet shop. Kittens don't need much attention, Missy winks at me. Kittens scratch, Axel growls. And don't think I don't know you two are ganging up on me. We're not, Missy pretentiously gasps for air. One simply overheard the conversation as you walked my way. Sure, Axel snorts and opens the door for me. Inside, ladies. Aren't you riding with us? I frown. And scare the bejesus out of Nicky. He raises his eyebrows. I'll be in the car right behind you. I lean towards him and kiss him quickly before getting into the car. I hope Nicky survives today, Missy whispers. Don't worry, Michelle gave her a mild sedative, I smile comforting. She won't freak out too much. Do you really think it's best not to tell her about the plan? Missy looks at me. She's been through so much already. That's why we can't tell her, I reply. I discussed the plan with Michelle at length, and she's content that Nicky should be in the dark. We won't traumatize her. It means a lot to me that you trust me enough with the truth, she says softly. You're trustworthy, I smile. Besides, you're an alpha and one of us now. Speaking off, Missy suddenly seems uncomfortable and nervous. How offended would you and Axel be if left and joined Moonstone? Not at all, I laugh heartily. Luther is your brother, I get it. He's so great, she sighs dreamily. We talked for hours. If there's one thing I could have changed, it would be to have met him sooner. How do you feel about your father and inheritance? I ask cautiously. Gary can take his money with him, she snorts. I'm glad my mother didn't use it. Your life would have been easier if she did, I reason. Growing up poor made me stronger and taught me to work harder. It also makes me appreciate the good stuff more, she says adamantly. Gary has been living with a clear conscience because he tossed money towards the problem. Now I get to give back and drown the old fart in guilt. So, you're planning to meet him? I ask surprised. Yeah, she grins. Just to torture him and his wife because I can. Good for you, I laugh softly but my smile fades quickly as we park in front of the hospital. Showtime, I sigh and look at Missy. Adele POV. This is insane, I groan as Luther and I ride to the cemetery chapel. Innocent people could get hurt. Why didn't you say something earlier? Luther frowns. Why didn't you tell Liana you don't agree with the plan? I'm not disagreeing, I scoff. I'm saying we're insane for doing it. Not that we shouldn't do it. The plan is brilliant. Crazy and expensive, but brilliant. We know what to expect, Luther smiles. We'll intervene before anybody gets hurt. And my dad's generous wedding gift will cover the costs. It's too late now anyway, I sigh as we park. Let's go be insane together. Our driver opens my door and Neil is instantly by my side when I get out. Luther comes around and together we enter the chapel. Either Sam is loved, or Moonstone is overrun with curious people. The chapel is packed from corner to corner. I can feel their eyes on me as I walk towards our seats. I do not have to tap into the mind link to know what they are wondering. I banished the deceased, and now I'm attending his funeral on packed territory. Very few people look sad, Luther whispers as we sit down. I bet everybody's just here to make sure he's really dead. That wouldn't surprise me, I smirk. There is a rustling behind us, and I turn around to look. Nikki is clinging to Edith's arm as they walk forward followed by Missy. Nikki's eyes are empty, and her lips are pushed tightly together. She does not want to be here, but Edith, her eyes are swollen red and filled with sorrow. It is like she said she loved her bastard husband. I sigh inwardly and face forward again. It is hard feeling sorry for her, knowing what I do. It is silent in the chapel as the three of them walk forward. Missy opens her handbag, hands them each a candle and helps them to light it. Under Missy's guidance, they place the candles in front of the coffin. Edith's cries echo around us as she looks at Sam. Theatrically, Edith throws her upper body over the coffin. Dear Goddess, I mumble under my breath. The woman doesn't even know our plan and she's playing right into our hands. People are so mesmerized by Edith's sorrow that nobody notices Missy placing her lighter fluid-infused handbag next to the burning candles. Let's go sit down, Missy says gently as she helps a sobbing Edith upright. Missy, your bag! Nikki shouts as she points to it, but before anyone can do or say anything, Edith starts screaming and reaches for it. Don't, you'll burn yourself, Missy warns as she frantically pulls Edith away from the flames. Sam! Edith cries as she tries to break free. I must save him from the Re. As helpful as this is to our plan, it is getting out of control and Edith might really perish. Neil, get the re-extinguisher, I order him through an open mind link so that the entire pack knows what is going on. Rena, get Edith and Nikki to safety. Neil jumps up and runs to the back as the flames are spreading like crazy, all thanks to the precisely selected cotton cloth the coffin is resting on. Sam! Sam! Edith is beside herself and fights Missy's hold while Nikki is staring mindlessly into the flames. Rena goes to help but without warning, Edith shifts and she bares her teeth at them, and they back down a little. GT, this wasn't part of the plan, I mumble. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand up. Please calmly leave the chapel until we extinguish the aims. We went a little overboard with the lighter UID, Luther grunts as the aims engulf the coffin and spread to the oar. It's getting out of control. Edith jumps at the coffin, and it tumbles over. Sparks and aims explode around Edith and the coffin. No! Mother! Nikki shouts hysterically and Missy is just in time to keep her from jumping into the aims. Guards, I mind link, get everybody out now. But Edith's howling wolf and Nikki's hysterical cries create an atmosphere of panic and chaos. People start screaming and shouting as the guards escort them outside. Clothes tear as people shift to better their chances for safety. Guards, shift and protect the wolf less, I command. Neil arrives with the extinguisher and opens it full blast at the aims surrounding Edith. The smell of burning ash and scorched hair lls the air. Rena, get the re-department and the ambulance, I order as Luther and I run towards them. I'm taking Missy and Nikki out the back as planned, Luther informs me. Alpha, I'll shift and drag the wolf out, Rena says as Luther and Missy carry a screaming Nikki to the back. I don't want her to die, but I'm not risking you, I say RMLY. We'll do it together, Neil, I turn to him. We're getting her out, cover us and let it burn once we're out. I look at Rena and she nods. We shift, stand back and lunge forward, over the aims and next to Edith. Frantically, she growls and bites at us. Rena goes for her front leg, and I bite into the back of her neck. Edith howls in pain but we do not let go. Together we drag her away from the coffin. The further we move away, the more desperately Edith ghts to break free to return to Sam. Kill the extinguisher, I order Neil once we are away from the aims. And help us get her out of here. Chapter 143 Liana POV. How do I look? I ask Axel as I pull the red wig in its place. I will happily cheat on my wife with you, he grins wickedly and leans over to kiss me. Pity I can't say the same about you, I pout and hand him his glasses. You look like a character from Scooby-Doo with that wig and glasses. Why is this charade even necessary? He growls indignantly. When was the last time you heard of an alpha attending a banished Omega's funeral? I raise my eyebrows at him. Fine, he grunts and takes my hand. But when you told us about the plan, you didn't say anything about disguises. I just smile as we enter the chapel and take a seat in the back. Curiously, I look at the people. I recognize a couple of them who helped with the wedding arrangements. They are all here in support of Nicolette. There is a group of women who I assume are Edith's friends. You've been to the factory, I mind link Axel. Having a conversation is too risky, someone might overhear us. Do you see any of them here? A couple, he replies, but not as a group. It's hard to distinguish between a friendly face and a malicious one. Discover related topics. Why anxiety? Why is why was dear goddess? I pump Axel in the ribs with my elbow. Isn't that Alpha Philip? What is he doing here? Me be damned, Axel replies. The poor bastard has no clever wife to order him to wear a disguise. Why do you think he's here? I look at Axel. Do you think he could be the murderer? Please, Axel snorts. Have you seen that man's hands? He gets a manicure more often than you do. No way he killed Sam. I'm serious, Axel, I grunt. I'm sorry, he drapes his arm around my shoulders. I don't think he ordered the kill, Liana. If we are right about the surgeries, Philip is here to keep an eye on his investment. Jack's dead and he might not be as well informed as he used to be. Or he's the one in charge now. Either way, I would also be concerned if one of my key players drops dead. I still don't understand how he can risk coming here, I frown. Even if none of the pack members know of the business, they will question his appearance. Except if Philip and Sam were seen together regularly, Axel reasons. That's it. I look at Axel when the thought strikes me. Edith was too scared to give me the enforcers' names. Philip must be one of them. It only makes sense. Do you think Edith betrayed us and told him about your plan? He looks worried. Please, I roll my eyes. I never liked Edith and I don't trust her. All she knows is that we would help her. She has no idea what's coming. Nicolette and Edith screaming interrupt our conversation and my eyes widen when Edith jumps into the flames. It would be best if you got out of here, Axel mind links firmly. You're pregnant and can't shift. Things can get ugly if people start panicking. I do not argue as I look at the wall of flames. Together we get up and walk outside. The plan was working perfectly until Edith threw herself into harm's way. People were supposed to see the flames, watch Edith and Nikki be escorted to the back and later hear that both tragically did not survive. Now that actually might come true. That's our cue, Axel says when we hear the approaching sirens, and we hurry towards our car which is parked at the back entrance. I'm calling our ambulance, I take out my phone. They better hurry, Axel huffs. Before Moonstone's ambulance gets here. Our ambulance is 1 block away, I reply. They'll make it. Smoke pours out of the back door as Missy and Luther stumble outside just when we get there. Missy is coughing ferociously while Luther deeply inhales the fresh air as he drags Nicolette outside. Is everybody all right? Axel picks up Nicolette and Luther closes his eyes as he keeps on breathing. Tears stream over Nikki's face as she coughs, but she does not struggle against Axel's hold. Luther pants. Try to breathe, rush over to Missy. The ambulance is seconds away. The ambulance pulls up next to us even before I finish my sentence. How do we know it's yours? Luther coughs. It looks exactly like ours. Because I'm here, Michelle announces as she gets out. Replicating your colors and logo isn't brain surgery. Hurry up, before Moonstone gets here. Axel places Nikki on a gurney and I guide Missy into the ambulance. Get in, I look at Luther as Michelle and Nikki receive oxygen. I must go back for Adele, Luther turns to the door, but Axel blocks his way. Move, Scooby-Doo, he grunts. Before Axel can reply, Adele's wolf bursts through the door with Edith clutched between her teeth. Followed by Rena and Neil. Dear Goddess, my eyes widen as I look at the scorched wolves. This was not part of the plan. Adele collapses next to Edith and Luther is instantly by her side. The emergency personnel from our ambulances rush to them with blankets and oxygen. I cringe inside as I watch them shift back, except for Edith who is unconscious. Neil does not look as bad as Adele and Rena but Edith, she has no fur left and looks like a SPHYNX cat. Guilt threatens to consume me, but I push it aside. I can feel sorry for my mistake after everybody received medical attention. Michelle, I call out to her. Get Nikki and Missy to our hospital immediately. What about Edith? She frowns. Our entire purpose is to fake her death. We might not have to fake Edith's death anymore, I grunt as I look at Edith. She has not shifted back and the EMTs are doing everything they can to revive her. I already mind-linked our ambulance, Luther says. They're on our way. Is she still alive? Adele points to Edith. Barely, Michelle nods and walks to the ambulance. I'll see you at home. Adele, how are you feeling? I ask nervously. Believe me, it looks worse than it is, she smiles. But, she's not lying, Rena interrupts me laughingly. Neil cleared the flames for us. Tell me that once you looked in a mirror, I say softly. You're going to need a haircut. It scorched away. It'll grow back, she shrugs. It could have been worse, Liana, Adele says with her eyes fixated on Edith. An ambulance pulls up and EMTs rush towards us. In silence we watch them load Edith. Alpha, please come with us, an EMT looks at her. I'm Annie, she refuses. Take Neil and Rena and get them to the hospital, Luther, and I will meet you there. I'm so sorry, I mumble as I lose the battle against the guilt. Don't be, she smiles as we watch the ambulance leave. We knew it was risky, and we prepared. We ensured the re-extinguisher was in place and ready. There was no way to know Edith would go crazy and push a burning coffin. Still, Liana, we all agreed to the plan. Luther cuts me off. There is no blame. We can continue this conversation in the car. Axel puts his arm around my shoulder. Let's get you to the hospital and have you checked out. Honestly, I think it worked out better this way, Adele says as we get into the car. Nobody will question anything once we announce their deaths. You're right, Axel adds. I overheard the EMTs. There were more injuries when people were eyeing the chapel. Nothing serious, but enough to kill any suspicions. This was a success in my book, Luther grins. Only if Edith survives, I grunt and intertwine my fingers. I don't think she wants to, Adele says softly. First, she tries to drown herself in alcohol, then she jumps into a I think she's severely suicidal. I don't have sympathy for her, Axel snorts. She allowed her daughter to be abused. She deserves much worse than death. Well, she's in a living if she survives, I sigh. Recovering from severe burns is no joke. Not even fast healing will get her out of it. Nikki's the only one that matters, really, Luther shrugs. And to get rid of the enforcers. Speaking of, dearest Alpha Philip attended the funeral. Axel grimaces and informs them about our suspicions. We need to get into that room in the factory, Adele grunts. And pay Philip a visit. We should hold off visiting Philip, I say. There's no way of telling what he will do and what he's capable of once he knows we're onto him. I agree, Axel nods. If we're right, and he's part of the enforcers, he's capable of killing one of his own. He will do much worse to his enemies. Okay, Adele nods. The second Luther and I are done at the hospital, we will focus on getting into the factory. Chapter 144. You still feel guilty, don't you? Adele smiles as she hands me my iced tea. It is just her and me in her office while Luther and Axel go for a run. Wouldn't you? I raise my eyebrows. Without question, she admits laughingly and takes a seat. And you would have told me exactly what I'm telling you. You're not to blame. It's not like I'm losing sleep over it, but I wouldn't have felt like this if it weren't for Nikki, I sighs. She suppressed her feelings all her life, and it only surfaced after she saw Edith drunk and passed out. Nikki admitted she thought her mother was dead when she saw her. Now she must deal with what Sam did to her. She wants to see Edith, but I don't know if it's wise. That's a tough call, Adele agrees. Seeing Edith's burned body connected to machines and fighting for her life, could lead to another breakdown. But it's also her last chance to say goodbye. It's not looking good, Liana. According to the doctor, Edith's not going to make it. Her wolf can't heal her fast enough and she's showing early signs of organ failure. Not to mention that Nikki's supposed to be dead, I grunt. Sneaking her in to say goodbye isn't going to be easy. But we must risk it, Adele says adamantly. I would want the chance to say goodbye. So do I smile weakly. And we've done riskier things. We'll sneak her in tonight when everybody's asleep. Good, Adele nods. I'll arrange with the hospital for a visit. Hello, ladies, Axel greets as he and Luther enter. Did you miss us? Dear goddess, you smell like wet dogs, Adele pulls up her nose when Luther hugs her. And you love it, Luther grins as he kisses her neck. As much as the smell of sweat and testosterone excites me, we have work to do, laugh softly, and Axel takes a seat next to me. Yes, Adele agrees. I've been dying to get into that factory since my last visit. I arranged a meeting with Sheldon and his after-hours crew. Who we believe are the enforcers, Luther adds. I told them it's about budget issues, Adele continues. While I'm keeping them occupied, Axel and Luther will visit the factory. I rub my belly as I listen to Adele. I would love to join Luther and Axel, but my curiosity is not worth risking my pregnancy. When's the budget meeting? Axel asks. Tonight, at 7, Adele replies. You won't need more than an hour. You'll have plenty of time to see what's going on and be back here before the meeting is over. Okay, Axel gets onto his feet and helps me up. I'll be here at 7:30. I am staring absent-mindedly out the car's window as Mike drives us home. You're quiet, Axel says softly as he pulls me closer to him. Is anything bothering you? I'm just thinking about everything, I smile and nestle closer to him. The enforcers must have a leader. No group or organization functions without one. We're suspecting Philip, but we could be wrong. We need to find the leader before we rip into the group. You're right, Axel frowns. Right now, they have no idea we're onto them. We're going to lose the element of surprise if we can't identify the leader. Now I'm thinking of a way to end the mastermind. I grin and stare out of the window again. What's that over there? I point to a building in the distance before Axel can reply. That house. He leans over me. That's Shedrick MacDonald's small holding. Old MacDonald had a farm. I laugh softly. Something like that, Axel chuckles. Shedrick has been a loner all his life and nobody ever bothered him. But he turned into a radical when he accidentally learned he was surrounded by werewolves. He's now convinced the end of times is near and never leaves his property. Mike, would you take us to the farm? I ask as an idea takes form. Sure, Luna, he replies and turns on the indicator. What are you up to? Axel looks at me curiously. Just a little sightseeing, I smile. Sure, he rolls his eyes at me. I tell you about my idea once LVE seen the place, I reply. Curiously I look around. It's like traveling back in time, I mumble as we get closer. Everything is so old. I wasn't kidding when I said he never leaves his property, Axel chuckles. He's completely self-sustainable. It's as impressive as it's scary, I shiver. It reminds me of movies like Wrong Turn. This is how far I can go, Mike announces, and I stare at the gate with the huge signs about trespassers who will be shot. Well, I guess Shedrick means it, Axel sighs as an old man in a dirty overhaul walks to the gate with a shotgun. This is private property, he shouts. You're not welcome here. Do you think he'll shoot? I look at Axel. Only one way to find out, he grunts as he opens the door. Axel, no, I hiss, but he puts his hands in the air and gets out of the car. Hello, Shedrick, Axel shouts. Long time no see. You, Shedrick lowers his gun. Why are you here? To introduce my wife, Axel lowers his arms. If you'll agree to it. Fine, but your goon stays where he is, Shedrick glares at Mike. Axel smiles at me and I take his hand. You knew he wouldn't shoot, he knows you, I mind Link as I nervously get out of the car and smile as we walk towards Shedrick. No is a bit strong, Axel replies. I helped him find a lost goat once. That's the only reason he's tolerating me. He despises our kind pretty wife, Shedrick grins and I notice half of his teeth are missing. Now, go away. Do you have pigs? I ask eagerly. Yes, and you can't buy them, he grunts. I was born a human, blurred out, and Shedrick looks at me curiously. And I would love to see your farm. May we? Why? He looks at me suspiciously. Because I want to kill a werewolf, say determinedly, and Axel looks shocked at me. And I need a place to get rid of the body. You're married to one, he points towards Axel. Do you really think I'm stupid enough to believe that you want to kill his kind? I don't think you're stupid, I smile. And you have every right not to believe me. But this particular wolf nearly killed me and my husband. I want to return a favor. They're powerful, he snorts. Their laws permit them to do whatever they want. You don't need my place. But we don't have pigs, I cross my arms in front of my chest. You want to feed the wolf to my pigs? He gapes at me. What, Liana? Axel hisses under his breath. Yes, I do, I ignore Axel. May I? Shedrick stares at me for a long time as he chews on a piece of tobacco. Pigs do eat a lot, he says after a while. It will save me a lot of money. And if you say it's a bad wolf, he must be damn awful. Fine, you can feed him to my pigs. Thank you, I smile brightly. Now, off with you, Shedrick waves to us and walks away. Have you lost your mind? Axel grunts as we walk back to the car. You can't trust him, he's a lunatic. And what's wrong with ripping a throat out? We want the leader, I say as we get into the car. The enforcers won't give him up, and you know it. They know all the tricks in the book. We'll have to be creative to get them to talk. And a pig gnawing on his body will do the trick. Axel huffs. There are other ways to tee him without involving a radical lunatic. The radical lunatic won't say a word, I argue. He hates the wolves, he wants them dead. He doesn't care about the rank of which pack they're from. He doesn't care about our laws or human laws for that matter. It's one less wolf in the world, and that's NE by him. Moonstone is soiled with traitors and backstabbers. The enforcers turned on their own. It's wolf against wolf, Axel. There are about 10 wolves in Moonstone we can trust. The enforcers can easily kill Adele and Luther if they think they're onto them. And what do you think is going to happen if we kidnap an enforcer and take him to Clear Moon for interrogation? They will come for our pack. They will come for Connor and your parents. I'm not risking it. But why the pigs? Axel exhales deeply. Because pigs eat everything, I reply. Including human bones. Nobody will ever find a body. Chapter 145. Luther POV. Hup, old man, we don't have all night, I hurry Axel along as he walks towards me. Who's your old man? He glares at me. I can still kick your ass into next week Sunday. With the speed you're walking, we'll both be grey by the time we reach the factory, I exhale deeply. Adele is gathering with a bunch of monsters, and I do not care that her of CE is surrounded by guards. I do not care that she can defend herself. She is my wife and true love, and I worry about her. Are you certain there's no one at the factory? Axel frowns as we get into my car. Yes, Alpha, I say patronizingly. But we'll take a back road in any case. Then what are you waiting for? Axel raises his eyebrows. Drive before we turn grey. I talk about nonsense all the way to the factory to keep my mind occupied. The second there is silence, my thoughts return to Adele and then I start to worry again. Park at this bar, Axel points towards the lights. We'll walk from here. This brings back memories, I smirk as we walk towards the factory. Sneaking out as teenagers. At least we have the keys this time, Axel whispers as he unlocks the door and deactivates the alarm. Unlike the time we wanted to take your dad's Audi Spider for a test drive. We were idiots to think we could have gotten away with it, I'll grin as I close the door behind me and follow Axel in the dark. This is the room, he points to the door and puts a key in the lock. Oh, forsake, he grunts. It's not working. I don't know much, I reply. But I bet if we break this door open, an alarm will go off. I bet you're right, Axel sighs and starts walking. Where are you going? I ask urgently as I follow him. Sheldon's office, he replies. There might be a key. This is going to take so much longer than an hour, I moan as we start searching the office. Axel only growls in response as he pulls open drawers and searches through them. I try and recall every movie I have ever seen with clever hiding places. Pot plants, under the desk and behind wall decorations. Got it, I smile triumphantly as I hold up a bunch of keys. Hidden in a coffee pot. Let's hope you're right, Axel sighs. Why else would it be there? I reason as we walk to the room. You'll only hide it if you don't want people to find it. Not so fast, cowboy, Axel stops me when I want to unlock the door. The alarm. Don't you know the code? I frown. It has no keypad, Axel points to the door. Fortunately, you're not the only one with a golden finding, he smiles as he holds up Sheldon's key card. You did that deliberately, didn't you? I grunt as Axel swipes the card and I unlock the door. To make me look like a fool. Next time, don't be so cocky when you make a finding, he chuckles and turns on the lights. Dear Goddess, I mumble as I look at the room. Adele was right, this is a surgical room. I expected it to be more primitive, Axel touches the overhead lights. But they have everything. Even a machine to sterilize the equipment. All of it is useless when you have a butcher performing the surgeries, I snort and open a drawer. Scalpels of various sizes glimmer in the light. How do they get rid of medical waste? I frown. Depending on the surgery, a person could easily die. How do they get rid of the body? They sneak people in, he replies. They could easily sneak a body out. Look at this, Axel opens another door. Another office. Probable where they keep patient records, follow him into the room. On a password-protected computer, Axel sighs as he looks at the laptop. I have half a mind to take it with us, but that would be a dead giveaway that someone was snooping. I pull on the LE cabinet's drawer and it slides out easily. There are rows of lei with names on them staring right at me. 2. Why would you have all the security and not lock the cabinet? Frown and take out a LE. Maybe he forgot, Axel joins me and looks at the names. Look at this, he pulls out a LE. Nicolette Chester. What does it say? I eagerly lean closer. She was 10 weeks pregnant, Axel reads. No fetal heartbeat when she was brought in and, son of A.B. H. Sam requested them to take out her uterus. He deliberately made the choice that she couldn't have children. That poor girl, I shake my head. She didn't deserve that. Axel puts the LE on the desk, takes out his phone and takes photos of the pages. Now we have proof, he picks up the LE and puts it away. And we know we're on the right track, I turn off the lights and close the door behind us. We'll come back with an IT god or a hacker to unlock the laptop. Or we can just kill them, and take the laptop, Axel grins as we put the keycard and keys back where we found them. Because that wouldn't tip Philip off at all, I snort as we walk outside and lock the door. Killing them includes Philip, Axel chuckles. Which we will do, I say as we walk towards the car. Once we know everything, we should go in for a drink. Axel points towards the bar. Adele will still be busy with the meeting. One beer, I agree. It would be good if people see us there. If anyone ever questions why the car was parked here, we have an explanation. My thoughts exactly, he laughs. Adele POV. I look at the men around the table as Sheldon rambles on and on about the importance of them working overtime. I have to pick the weakest link to torture and kill for answers, but that is easier said than done. Sheldon is a ruthless, but I doubt that he will hold under the pressure of interrogation. He looks like he will sing like a canary with the first jolt of pain. But he has a wife and kids, and I do not want to put them through the hardship of wondering what happened to their father and husband. It would be better if they learned what he has done and that he is being punished for his deeds. 4 more men have families, and I disqualify them on the same criteria. It is not right to punish the families because of the husbands. Especially the children. They are innocent. The youngest of the group is physically tough. He has muscles on muscles, and he does not seem to be too bright. I do not think he contributes much to the group other than physical strength. It is doubtful that he is fully informed about the group's activities. He seems lost in this meeting. Which leaves Davy. A tall, blonde man with dark eyes. Just looking at him sends shivers up my spine. I swear he is a sadist. Evil radiates from him. It will be a public service to remove him from society. Thank you, Sheldon, I smile when he is finally done talking. You have valid points. And judging by the gurs, your request is justified. But I'm going to be honest with you, our bank account is in trouble. We need everything we can get, and we must cut costs wherever we can. We provided proof of income, now I need help with cutting expenses. The very last thing I want to do is lay off personnel. Can we schedule another meeting with ideas? I'm brilliant at cutting, Sheldon laughs jovially, and the men join him. I only smile and pretend that I do not understand the implications of his words. I wish I could tell him he is not the brilliant surgeon that he thinks he is. Nikki has the scars to prove it. Wonderful, I ash a fake smile. Shall we say next week, same time? Fine by us, Sheldon agrees. Thank you for coming, I stand up and they follow my lead. Rena will show you out. Without waiting for a reply, I march to my room. I take out my phone and dial Liana's number. I have selected a target. I inform her after greeting her. Davy, he's single and evil. But do you think he'll talk? Liana asks. I think so, I sigh. Okay, I'll make arrangements, she replies. I'll see you at midnight with Nikki to visit Edith. See you then, I end the call and walk downstairs to pour myself a vodka. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks, a link is provided in the video description.